Welcome back to Cowboys Insiders, the ultimate home for every true fans of the Dallas Cowboys. Whether you have been riding with America's team for years or you are just starting your journey, this is the place where the passion, pride, and football come together. Here at Cowboys Insiders, we don't just follow the game, we live it. From thrilling victories to tough battles, we stand united behind the star, celebrating every moment that makes the Cowboys one of the most iconic teams in the sport history. So, get ready to dive deep into exclusive insight, breaking news, players update, and expert analysis on the Dallas Cowboys. So this is your front row seat to everything happening on and off the field. We bring you closer to the action, closer to the players, and closer to the heart of the game. So wherever you are watching from, we warmly welcome you to the Cowboys family. Your voice matters here, your passion belongs here, and your loyalty make this community stronger. The off-season in the NFL is not a quiet period. It is a high-stakes cheers match where championships are quietly built along before the first kickoff of the regular season. Behind closed door, general manager, scouts, and coaching staff spend countless hours evaluating talent, negotiating contracts, and constructing a roster capable of competing at the highest level. For a franchise like a Dallas Cowboys, the pressure is even greater as expectations are not just about making the playoffs but about returning to the Super Bowl contention and restoring a dominance. The journey begins with a free agents, a period that transforms the league into a marketplace of elite talent. Teams enter these fairs with a clear understanding of their roster deficiencies, whether it is the needs for wide receiver who can strengthen the field, an edge rusher who can consistently generate a pressure, or an offensive tackle who can anchor a blind side. Every move is dictated to generate pressure or offensive tackle who can anchor beyond the same. So every move is dictated by a salary caps, forcing organization to balance ambition with a financial discipline. The Cowboys, like other contender, must carefully evaluate cap hit, granted money, and long-term implications before committing to any major signings. At the quarterback position, the most important role in a football, veteran options continue to dominate a conversations. Players like Kirk Cousins bring a consistency, accuracy, and the ability to operate within a structured offensive systems. Meanwhile, a Russell Wilson offers leadership and deep ball efficiency trait that can instantly elevate an offense. On the other hand, a younger quarterback such as Justin Fields introduce a different dimensions with their mobility, allowing offenses to incorporate run pass option and extend plays beyond the designed structure. Even for teams with established starters, securing a depth at quarterbacks remains a priority as injuries at the position can derail an entire season. The running back market reflects the evolving philosophy of modern football. While some franchises hesitate to invest heavily in the position due to its physical demand and shorter career spans, elite players like Saquon Barkley continue to demonstrate their value as complete offensive weapons. His ability to contribute as both runner and receiver makes him a true three-down back capable of impacting every phase of the game. So similarly, Derrick Henry remains one of the most physically dominant players in the league, capable of wearing down defenses and controlling a tempo of the game. In an era dominated by passing offenses, these players remind teams of the importance of balance and physicality. At wide receiver, the demand for elite talent has reached level offenses across the league, really heavy on dynamic playmakers who can create separation, win contested encroaches, and generate yards after the catch. Players like T. Higgins provide a size and reliability, making them ideal target in a critical situation. So a Mike Evans continues to excel as a red zone threat using his physicality and catch radius to dominate defensive backs. Meanwhile, Calvin Ridley brings a precious route running and explosiveness qualities that are essential in creating mismatches against opposing defenses. For teams like the Cowboys, adding or maintaining a strong receiving corps is essential to maximizing offensive efficiency and supporting their quarterback. Defensively, a free agency focuses on players who can disrupt opposing offenses and create a game-changing moment. Interior defensive linemen like Chris Jones are among the most valuable assets in the league, as their ability to collapse the pocket from the inside forces quarterback into uncomfortable situations. Edge rushers such as Daniel Hunter provide consistent pressure of the edge, critically component of any successful defense. Linebacker like Patrick Quinn offer versatility, excelling in both run defense and pass coverage. So in the trenches, offensive linemen such as Tyron Smith remain invaluable, protecting the quarterback and establishing the foundation for successful offense. While free agencies provide immediate solution, the NFL draft represents the future. It is a process defined by evaluating projections and calculated risk. Teams spend monthly analyzing prospect, studying game film, conducting interviews, and evaluating physical attributes during the scouting combine and pro days. The goal is to identify players who not only possesses innate talent but also fit the team's culture and system. At the quarterback, prospect like Caleb Williams are viewed as a franchise-changing talent. His combination of the arm strength, creativity, and poise under pressure make him one of the most highly anticipated prospects in recent years. Alongside him, Drake May offer prototypical size and accuracy, while Jadon Daniel brings a dynamic athleticism and playmaking ability. So each of these quarterbacks represent different stories of the players, giving a team's option depending on their offensive philosophy. The wide receiver class is equally impressive, headlined by Marvin Harrison Jr., whose skill set has drawn comparison to some of the greatest receivers in the NFL history. His route running, hands, and football intelligence make him an immediate impact player. He is complemented by talent like Malik Nurbles and Lom Adons. Both of whom bring explosive and the ability to change the outcomes of the game with a single play. So in the trenches, offensive linemen such as Joe Hart and Olu Fanshanu represent the next generation of Anerit protectors. Their techniques, strength, and athleticism make them ideal candidates to become a cornerstone players on the offensive line. On the defensive side, players like Jared Verse and Dallas Turner bring explosiveness and versatility, while a cornerback such as Akur Eddie Maxey have a potential to develop into a shutdown defenders capable of neutralizing an elite receiver. So for the Dallas Cowboys, the challenge lies is combining these two pathways, free agencies and NFL draft, into a cohesive strategy. A free agencies allow them to address immediate needs with a proven veterans, while the draft provides an opportunity to build for a future with a young cost-controlled talent. Striking the right balance between these approaches is essential for maintaining competitiveness while preserving long-term flexibility. As the off-season progresses, every decision becomes part of the larger narrative, and a single free agent signing which can shift the balance of the power within a division. While a successful draft class can set a foundation for 4 years' success, fans eagerly follow every rumors, every mock draft, and every contract announcement, understanding that these moves will ultimately shape the upcoming season. In this ever-evolving landscape, the difference between success and failure often comes down to execution. So teams that excel in talent evaluation, roster management, and strategic planning are the ones that rise the top. We are diving a deep into one of the most exciting and unpredictable times of the year, the NFL draft season. The anticipation is upbuilding, a mock draft and are evolving a daily, and a Dallas Cowboy are once again at the center of attention as they prepare to make a decision that could define the next chapter of the franchise. The NFL draft is not just about adding a player. It's about filling the gaps in the teams, correcting a past mistakes, and building a roster capable of making a deep playoff run. So for our team, which is the Dallas Cowboy, the pressure is always amplified. Every move is analyzed and every pick is debated in the fans and in the media. And every miss is remembered. Coming into this draft cycle, the Cowboys have a clear needs. Despite being competitive in recent season, there are still critical areas that need reinforcement. Offensive line depth and long-term stability, defensive playmakers, especially in secondary, and a wide receiver depth behind their top target. And also, the Dallas need to make a running back option depending on a roster decisions. A mock draft across the league are trying to predict what the Dallas will do, but one thing in certain, this team cannot afford to miss. So for the mock draft trends and what experts are saying on the Dallas Cowboys NFL draft of this year, across the multiple mock draft, a few consistent patterns are emerging when it comes to a Dallas. Number one is our offensive line reinforcement. Many analysts believe that the Dallas Cowboys will prioritize protecting their quarterback and rebuilding a dominance in trenches. Names like elite college tacklers and guards are frequently linked to a Dallas. The idea is simple in the Dallas. Control the line of scrimmage, dominate physically, and return to a more balanced offensive identity. This strategy reflects the philosophy that once defined the Cowboys during their most successful years: a strong offensive line and leading to explosive offenses. The second upgrade is a secondary focus in defensive. While Dallas has had flashes of defensive brilliance, inconsistency in the secondary has cost them in a big moment. Several mocks draft project cornerbacks or safeties landing in Dallas. Players who bring a speed, awareness, and a stability to create a turnovers. The modern NFL is pass heavy, and if the Cowboys want to compete with another teams, they need a defenders who can match up against a top tier receivers. So another popular direction in a mock draft is adding offensive weapons. Whether it's a wide receiver with a game-breaking speed or versatile running back, Dallas could look to give their offense more explosiveness. There is a growing belief that the Cowboys need another dynamic playmaker, someone who can change the games instantly and take a pressure off the passing game in the Dallas Cowboys. So, the Jerry Jones factor for NFL draft this season in the Dallas Cowboys. So, Jerry Jones, there is no discussions about the Cowboys is complete without mentioning a Jerry Jones. His influence on the draft decision is legendary. So sometimes bold, sometimes controversial, but always impactful for the team. So the Jerry Jones is known for making unexpected moves, and that unpredictability adds another layers of excitement to every mock draft. Analysts can project all they want, but when draft night arrives, the Dallas often surprise everyone. So in the perfect roles, the Cowboys walk away from this draft with a starting quarterback, offensive lineman, and a defensive playmakers ready to contribute, and immediately a high upside skills players can develop into a star. But there is also some leaks that affect the Dallas Cowboy in these NFL draft mocks. Reaching for a players, ignoring key needs, or failing to adapt as a draft unfolds could leave a Dallas in difficult position. This means the NFL draft is unpredictable, and even the best teams can walk away with disappointing results. For a franchise with a championship expectations, anything less than a strong draft class will raise a serious questions. So, so as we move on close to NFL this draft, those tension, speculation, and excitement surrounding the Dallas are reaching another level inside the league cycle, and things are starting to take a shape. Front officers are finalizing their board's private workout are wrapping up, and the Dallas, this is where a real strategy begins. Not just a guesswork. What makes this year different is that the Cowboys are not just looking for depth, they are looking for impact. This is a team that believes it is a closer to competing at the highest level in the NFL, and the draft is being treated as the weapon to push them over a need for a Super Bowl. So there is the latest developments around the Dallas draft strategy. Number one is a heavy focus on offensive line to rebuild. One of the strongest development coming out of the Dallas is their growing interest in offensive linemen. Internally, there is a belief that a dominance in the trenches must return if this team wants to control a game again. So there is some names consistently linked to the Dallas in this NFL draft. Number one is J.C. Lathan. He is a powerful tackle with innate size and strength. Many insiders believe he can fit in the Dallas Cowboys' physical identity perfectly. The other is Alo Fashanu, a technically polished and extremely reliable in a pass protection, a safe high floor options, a terrace swagger, and a rising prospect with aggression and versatility, capable of playing a multiple position on the line. So there is a whisper that the Dallas could prioritize an offensive lineman even if a flashy skills play is still unavailable. That tells you how serious they are about rebuilding the foundations. The defensive playmaker still on the ladder. A disparate offensive needs, the Cowboys are not ignoring a defense. In the fact, some mock drafts suggest they could go a defense if the right players falls. So there is some key targets which include Akuru Edim MC Country, one of the top cornerback in a class, known for accurate coverage skills and football IQ. Akopa Dedron, a versatile defensive backs who can play in multiple roles including a safety and return specialist. A Jared Verse, a disruptive edge rusher who could instantly upgrade the Cowboys' pass rush rotation. So a Dallas understands that to compete in the today NFL, you need a defenders who can create a turnovers and pressure quarterbacks consistently. A surprise interest in skills position players. Here is where things get interesting. Even though offensive line and defensive are priorities, Dallas has been quietly linked to explosive offensive weapons. This suggests they may be preparing for a best players available strategy if a star fails unexpectedly. So a name to watch is Brian Thomas Jr., a big play wide receiver with analytic speed and touchdowns potential. The next is Xavier Worth, one of the fastest player in the draft, capable of stretching a defense instantly. And the next is Jonathan Blocks, a dynamic running back who could bring a balance and explosiveness to an offensive. So if the Dallas goes in this direction, it likely means they see a unique talent they simply cannot pass on. So there is some more behind of the scenes about these NFL draft decision makers in the Dallas Cowboys. Everything ultimately cycle back to the owner of the Dallas Cowboy, Jerry Jones. Thompson feels a major need in a secondary for the Cowboys. He has been full-time starter the past 5 seasons with Arizona and also has 9 career interceptions. He can fill a multiple roles for a new coordinator, Christian Parker, and has familiarity on the coaching staff with a new corners with a coach Ryan Smith. The Cowboys need communicator in the secondary, and the Thompson can make sure everybody is on of the same page. He is a young, turning 28 in July, but has an experience to help a secondary grow in a Dallas Cowboys. Next is Kobe Durant. Kobe Durant is joining a Dallas Cowboy on 1 year deal which will worth about $6 million. Durant started 39 of 61 games in his 4 years with the Rams and they recorded 7 interceptions and returning 2 for touchdowns. Between 5 and 11 fumbles and 1 181 pounds. He is not a large cornerback, but he has shown the ability to match up well with a bigger receivers. The Cowboys have question on the position with Dallon Bland and Shavon Levers Jr. and Colin Carson playing through injuries last year, and Bland is rehabbing from off-season foot surgery. The Cowboys hope Rivera will make a secondary year jump after missing the first 9 games last season, recovering from a torn ACL. This means Dallon was on rehabilitation and recovering from ACL injury. Durant has some experience playing in a slot, which could be a bonus for the Cowboys, but his addition would not prevent them from selecting a corners with one of their first 2-round picks in upcoming NFL draft mocks. Then also, the Sam Williams, he is the defensive end in re-upping on 1-year deal, which will worth about $3 million US dollar. The former Cowboys second round picks return on low cost and low risk move. He had 1 sack last season after coming back from a torn ACL and starting 5 of 17 games. He has credited with 38 tackles and 25 pressures and 6 tackles for loss, a fumble recovery and forced fumble. He had 8.5 sacks in the first 2 years before the injury. So perhaps a change in a scheme under a Packer can up his pass rusher production in 2026. While the trade of Lashan Gally means more for the defense, signing Williams shouldn't take the Cowboys out of adding more help in free agencies or using one of their top picks on pass rusher in the NFL draft. So, Dallas Cowboys also agreed 1-year deal with a maximum of $3 million with a former Charger, Otito Agbonia. Defensive tackles doesn't seem like a major need when the Cowboys already have Quinnen Williams, Ken Duck, and Salmon Thomas. Also plus 2025 draft picks J. Toia. But Agonia can play a role. A Packer wants to keep a fresh rotation of linemen in his defense. Ogbonia was limited to 9 games last season because of injury, but he had 14 pressures and a half sack. He has started 20 career games and 81 tackles. Between 6 foot and 4 and 320 pounds, he has a size to help a bolster on the front. PG Loki, the former Broncos safety, will join also Dallas with 1-year contract. Catch up on NFL free agencies, top remaining players, and grading deals, ranking 32 classes, and lingering questions, and every team signing more reactions. After agreeing to deal with a Thompson on Monday, Aloki is a second safety to be brought aboard. The Cowboys reworked the deal for one of the last year's startup, Malik Hooker, and have Max Kisbell on roster. So the safety group looks filled out. Aloki started 26 games in 6 years in Denver, and he had an interception in the Broncos playoff win versus a Buffalo in this year in January. If the Cowboys believe a Thompson can play the nickel spot full-time, that opens up opportunities for Aloki, who has 174 tackles and 7 tackles for a loss in his career. At the very least, he brings a veteran depth and also can be a core special teamers in the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't really need another quarterback with last year's loan. So Dak Prescott and Joe Milton III and Will Glee under contract, but they brought on fourth arm Howard, who ended last season with Philadelphia after spending time with Minnesota, made the first start of his career against the Cowboys in 2022, while with Washington, and got the wins. For his career, he has recorded 22 touchdowns, passes, and 23 interceptions. So can he compete for the backup jobs held by Milton last season? Is he just another arm for the off-season program? It's a fly on a guy, and Cowboys would like to see what he has. There is no really risk here. Hennessy essentially replaces a block Hoffman, who has been valuable reserve central and guards the past 2 seasons and has not tended as a restricted free agents. Hennessy has started 24 games, including the games in Atlanta. He has a third-round pick out of Temple for Atlanta in 2025 and played for the Falcons and San Francisco the past 6 seasons. The Cowboys needed interior offensive line depth and have a TG Bass who started late last season at the left guard and is restricted as a free agent. The Cowboys tendered a bus at a second-round level of $6 million. Adrian Hendrick also, which have been already signed a new contract with the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk with what will help the Dallas Cowboys in this season. The former Rams signed 1-year millions contract that could max about. The Cowboys believe that a team can never have enough corners. They added a Kobe Durant in the first week of free agents. They re-signed a lady Setward and Kendrick, who has 3 interceptions in 47 games with the Rams, and Seahawks in his career, which have a chance to earn a roster spot this summer, but look for the Cowboys to add at least one more cornerback in a draft, perhaps in the first round. The former Santa Claus is joining a Dallas on 1-year deal contract is a Jonathan Bullard. Bullard is another rotational piece for defensive line. He is entering his 11th season and has played for 6 teams, including the New Orleans Saints last year. But he has a background with a new defensive line coach Marcus Dixon.